welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Who'd have thought they'd lead ya? Back here where we need ya. Back here where we need ya. Yeah, the T's in my lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back. All right, give it a stretch. So I started the post radio show promo stuff. So I got the first initial batch of like posts out. I've got a few more on some social media networks that should be done soon. But I kind of went down this rabbit hole. I'm trying to get this thing to work, which I'm going to talk about now, so that maybe other folks who have more experience with it can maybe, let me know. Now, it does work, right? But I think I could get it to work better. And so let me show what I am talking about. Opening a bunch of tabs, which of course is making my computer be like, why are you doing this to me? Where'd it go? Did I not? Okay, I don't think I opened it. I did not. Okay. All right. So, okay, yeah. So I guess best place to start would be to show what it is I'm working on, right? So let me do that. Okay, so this is like the layout I'm looking at, all right? And the whole idea is an upcoming project I'm working on. And so these black squares are like video feeds, all right? And so like two of these would be like cameras, so like webcams, whatever. And then this one could be like a screen share. And over here on this side is the viewer is doing something. Like this is for a code along project that I'm working on. And so here, the person would be coding along with what the video feeds here are talking about, right? And then this screen share will be like what that person is doing. I guess teacher. So let's say like a teacher student, right? A student is here coding along with what the teacher is talking about, right? And what the teacher is doing at the same time, the coding will happen in the screen share. Now, if the student is like, wait, let me double check with what I'm working on to match up with what the teacher is saying, you're able to like expand, have this button to expand. And so you're able to expand it. And what happens is the section, the side section, sidebar, if you want to call it, that then kind of like goes on the top layer, and the video feeds are still here. And where the teachers work on the screen share gets bigger, so that the person can then see what's happening. Because otherwise, it's kind of small. You know what I mean? And so that's basically what I want to happen. And it works, as you can see, the way I want. I'm also going to add, so if you have like multiple monitors, and if your browser supports it, I want to be able for you to be able to pop out this section here, the sidebar, so then you can have that bigger and at the same time coding, so you don't have to keep going back and forth between the expand and everything. So that's next, but depending on if I can figure this out. So, and it works fine. Great. The way I made it work, because I think when I initially started it, I was trying to do, because it wouldn't really work, because the thing is, in order for me to, how can I explain this? Okay, for it to be able to do this, like be able to go to the bigger size, I needed to change the width of this container, right? And that leads into the thing. I couldn't do it based on the viewport of the whole page. I had to do it on this container. So I was like, hey, when this width changes, then do something. So in the code, that looks like this. Let me pull that up. So the way I have it structured, and this is just a really quick proof of concept, right? So the way I have it structured, and this may change, but so I have this section videos, and within that I have the cameras, which again was like the webcam, and I have that button here. And so I have the two like test videos here, and then I have a screen section. So within the videos, there's a div containing the webcams and another div for the screen share. All right. And then next to that, because it's all, the main is all like one big flex box or whatever, right? And so I have the code part here. All right. So I guess take a look at the CSS maybe. Hold on. A whole bunch of stuff here. So yeah, so the main, I just basically have a display flex. I have the width at 100, the viewport at 100, right? And the height. The height is a 100 view width, and then the height. What did I just say? The width is 100 VW view width, viewport width, and then the height is 100 VH or viewport height. Okay, now, and then what happens is when you click the button, I have it toggling the expand class on it. So that's basically what that's doing, right? It's not much there. I'm trying to keep it as like not complex as possible. And so because it's going to get complex later. And so the less I can make things complex now, the better. And so, and this is just something, if the screen is empty, it does something that doesn't matter right now. So yeah, so I have it, when you click it, so it removes it kind of like out of the DOM tree kind of, and it puts it on top. So that's what the position absolute, right? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So it sets how the element is positioned in a document. Nice. Now, so I set the width of that section, that is because that's what the expand does. Whatever a section is attached to, it makes it absolute, the width, the full width, and the height just be auto, right? All right, cool. So like I said, I needed to watch that container, that videos container. And so that's what I have here. So on the videos, I have this container, and I'm calling it videos. And the container type, like what it watches, I guess, is the inline size. So like the width. They have a block one, which I believe is like the height you can do, but I'm looking for the width. So this container thing now, let me show you for more information about that. Good old MDN. By the way, I need to make sure I put links to this. So I'm gonna put a link to this MDN page. Cool. So container, and you can see it's been baseline newly available since 2023. So last year. So I'm like, so now I'm thinking pretty good to maybe try and use, right? And so the container CSS at rule is a conditional group rule that applies styles to a containment context. Okay. So style declarations are filtered by a condition and applied to the container if the condition is true. All right. The condition is evaluated when the container size or style feature value changes. And so a lot of this, no clue what it's talking about. Now there's this container name property specifies a list of query container names. So these names can be used by at container rules to filter which query containers are targeted. Okay. So the optional case sensitive, it's case sensitive, did not know that. Container name filters the query containers that are targeted by the query. So, okay, so here's the syntax, right? So here's the container, here's the container condition, like the width or whatever it is that you're looking, or the height, depending on whatever it is, the thing that needs to be true. So here's an example. So container, if the width, I guess, of the container is more than 400 pixels, then the H2 that's within that container is the font size is going to be 1.5 EM. Now, here's with the optional joint. And so you can see now they're talking about the height. If the container, if it's called tall, That's what I think it is. If the container name is tall, then if you're looking for the height of the 30 rm, and so anything that is under the tall container, then this is applied. I think that's how that works. At least that's kind of like how it's been working in my investigations, basically. So then they have like the different things you can do, like an and. So you can say the width and the height. Does it tell you like what are the things that you can actually look up? I'm not sure. But then here's the name containment context. So here it works. So you have the container, right? So this one here is post. So this post is holding things inside of it. And then so you give it a container name, you call it sidebar. And then the container type is like what you're measuring against, I guess, is the inline size. And again, like the width. But then that switches depending on your reading stuff, something. It's a whole lot of things. That's why they have like inline styles. Because I think some are like, because no, like for where I'm at is like left to right, right? So that'll be your inline size. But then some places they read top to bottom. So then top to bottom would then be their inline size, right? And so by kind of like abstracting that to just be inline size, you're not like saying, oh, it's width or height or whatever, because it's different in different places on how they read. At least that's what, from what I understand. Now, so then you can combine them together to look like that, and that's what I did. So in container queries, the container name property is used to filter the set of containers to those with a matching query container. So basically, if you didn't have this, then anything that was set as like a container, because I think the base you need is for it to be marked as a container is like container type. And then anything, so any of those containers that had like a container type, if the width was more than 400, then it would be applied. Whereas with this, you add the name, I think only the stuff inside the sidebar or this dot post will then be applied here. I think that's how that works. And then they have aspect ratio. Oh, so here are the things that you can look for. So aspect ratio, block size, height, inline size, orientation. Oh, that's cool. Landscape to portrait. That's kind of interesting. That might be useful. And width. All right, then they have some other examples. Cool. So then there's this other one from web.dev. Shout out to good folks at web.dev, putting in good work. Add this link, save it, and let me share this tab. So then to kind of like visualize a little bit better, they have this query container card. And you can see as the width gets smaller, the card changes. And so, because previously, it'd be difficult to like have the description like leave, because you would have to, I guess, like calculate the width of the actual screen size, and then depending on that, use that to say like, okay, once it reaches here, then I want the text to disappear, the description. But then I think the issue is if you had like multiple ones and they took up different sizes, well, then you'd have to have like individual for each one, like each card, depending on the size. And so that just gets to be very complex, right? And so, because you can see things change at different times as it gets smaller, as the viewport gets smaller. So that's why you'd want the container itself to determine what would happen on the inside of it. And that's why the container queries were created. And then they have this demo on CodePen. So, yeah. And so then here, so they have the card. So they have this container. And so where I think I went wrong, so let me show you what I was trying to do. So let me go back to this. So I got it working. I'm like, cool. I wonder if I can make it with a grid, because what I would like to do, instead of like having the expand thing, like waiting on that class, what I would like to kind of like have it auto trigger depending on the width of the videos. Because right now I need to set like the width to be 100 for it to kind of like trigger the container so that the screen, oh, did I even go over this? So okay. So knowing what we saw with the container on MDN, right? So I have the videos. I called it videos in the inline size. And I initially set the width to be 320. Then when the expand class is added to it, I set the width to 100 and display flex, right? Then yeah, because on expand, it also makes it absolute. Okay, so now, and I do display flex so that the videos, like the cameras and the screen share, when I flex them, they move next to each other. And then I set the width of the screen to be 100 viewport minus the width of the cameras that I have, the video feeds for the camera. So that's why that worked. What I would like to do is, instead of doing all of that, I wanted to see if I could do a display flex, right? And so I wouldn't have to set this, but I would do display grid, and then I would do a grid template column and then set that to 320, right? Then in my mind, what I thought was that if the video, because I clicked this thing and it made it wider, that this would then kick off. And then instead of setting the screen width, I thought I would be able to just set the grid template columns to be 2. So going from 1 column to 2 columns. And so that way, it all kind of just relies on the width of the, let me say this. It all depend on the width of the videos, right? But that didn't work the way I thought it would. So here it is. Now, when I click expand, it goes away. And the reason, because, well, if I do this, the inspect is not going to show up. I don't think. Oh, by the way, let's show this tab. So, okay, so yeah, let me do this again. So here it is. I forgot to share the tab. So with the changes, right, let me refresh this. So we have the 3 here, right? That's how it kind of looked before. I hit expand. It goes away, the screen share. And I think it's because, so, okay, if I inspect this, so what's happening is, so now it has the expand. I don't even know if you can, yeah, I think you can see that. So here's the video of the expand. And what's cool is we have a container thing, so I can kind of look at the container. And so you see the container is taking up with the full width, right? But then, oh, okay, so that didn't work because, yeah, okay, I had a display flex. I need to get rid of the display flex. So it's there. But the thing is, it didn't expand to the side. So again, you can see the container. The container, like, wait, hold on. Where did the container go? So yeah, so the container is the whole thing, but the actual, it still has the grid template columns as that single 320 pixels. It didn't change to be the 2 columns, so the 320 pixels and the 1 FR to take up the rest of the space. And so that's got me thinking that I can't actually modify the container, only the things inside of the container. So what I would need to do is put a container on the outside of the videos, maybe call like videos container, and then target that. And then on the inside of the videos here, then I should be able to do changing the grid template columns. Because I don't think I can do that with the container. I don't think I can directly change things about the container, only the things within the container. And I think that's what that is. So if what I'm thinking about, I'm going to try that in the next break session. So yeah, I'm over. So I'm going, so that's what I think. So I'm going to see what I want to do try is that here I might put, or maybe I could do it on the main itself. Well, no, because the main is the full thing, so that's not going to work. That's like the whole page. So I need to put another container that wraps around the videos. So it wraps around the cameras and the screen. Put something around that, and then once that, so then I'll have to do the expand on that video container. And so when that gets bigger, I should hopefully be able to the display grid on the videos, change the grid column, whatever it was called, template, grid template columns. Change that from being just 1 to 2. So yeah, because that's going to be on the inside of the container that I'm watching for. So kind of like making it one level higher. So I got to see, because if I can do that, then that will make it better, I think. For the next thing I want to do is when I pop it out, I wouldn't have to add the expand class to it because the width would be the largest thing. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to work on. So that's where I'm at with that. If anybody's ever done anything with this, please let me know. But I think that's what the issue is, talking this through. So yeah, all right, cool. I'll get y'all back to work so I can get back and try and figure this out. And yeah, cool. I'll send you all off with some traveling music. This here is Anthony Cruz, aka A Butter. The track's called Thank You, because thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you're making some progress on whatever it is that you're working on. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. When we come back, we'll take a look at an artist's website, listen to some music, watch some videos, maybe you'll become a fan. And yeah. Oh, I totally forgot about this other thing. Hold on, before I do that, I wanted to talk about this other one. I'm gonna add it to the list of links. Now, this person did this. Let me see here. Let me add it here. Just gonna go over this really quickly. Forgot to talk about it. And our screen share. This one. So, shouts to Philip Walton. Wrote this extensive blog post on how to use container queries now. And this, I think, was a little bit before it was like really out there. So he has like fallbacks to use for query containers. And so if you want to make sure your thing is like good across like every browser for like the past few years, this is a really good one. And it's pretty cool. So yeah, so it says like now that query containers are supported in all browser engines, why aren't more developers using them? And so this came from like a blog post that somebody wrote or whatever. And so some developers say they want to use container queries now, but they think they can't because they still have to support older browsers. And he kind of goes through and talks about like, he even uses, one of the other reasons I want to talk about this is because, so he goes through and he talks about different fallbacks that you can use, right? But what I really like is that he created a web component that kind of like handles everything. So that's pretty dope. So shout to them. And it's pretty cool. So you can see self custom elements defined, and it's called responsive container. And so you go through, and he has like a video of it in action. So here it is. And so all these are wrapped in that like responsive container, and then it tells the inside, I guess, like what to do. And yeah, pretty dope. And so again, you can check out all the other stuff here. And yeah, really cool stuff. Yeah, it's a lot. I didn't even like go through all of it. I saw that, oh, web components. Awesome. All right, so I added this to the list of links. Yes, I did. All right, cool. Just wanted to shout that out. All right, let me get y'all back to work. Where is it? This one. Not this one. Here. All right, cool. Thanks for hanging out. Anthony Cruz, aka A Butter. Thank you. All right. See y'all 15 minutes after the hour. Y'all be easy. And peace.
I want to say thank you for holding on. When a brother was down and out, now I feel so strong. And I want to say thank you for being there. When a brother had no nowhere to turn to. You were there, and I feel like hero. And everybody says hero. We spread it love like hero. I wanna say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I wanna say